Boom. All right, what's going on, you guys? It's Royce Jacob. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Waves Weekly, series I post every weekend where we cover recent news and current events that I believe will impact the markets. These episodes are meant to be more chill, so sit back, grab yourself a drink. Right now, I am personally drinking Ito and green tea. Drink this stuff pretty much just as much as I do water. Never fails to get the job done. So cheers to the weekend, you guys. I hope it is relaxing yet productive. And of course, let me know what you're drinking down below. Cheers. All right, let's get into it. As always, we'll go over each topic that we're going to be discussing, and then we'll dive into each one individually. First things first, we are going to be kicking it off with a controversial yet very, what I think is going to be a fun to talk about topic. CNBC titled, "Would you be willing to get a COVID vaccine in exchange for a $1,500 stimulus check? How one bold proposal would work." So you guys, I'm pretty sure I had this idea last week. I'm pretty sure I threw it into the Moderna vaccine or Moderna analysis that I posted earlier this week. And I think this is a great idea, you guys. Considering we've been printing so much money, again, money's being printed out of thin air. I think a $1,500 stimulus in exchange for people taking vaccine, if you take the vaccine, you get a $1,500 stimulus check, is a great idea. And I think the reason for this is because, as many of you probably know, there's a lot of controversy, a lot of sus around the potential vaccine, these vaccines that are coming out, because people think Bill Gates is trying to chip them. There's a whole bunch of other conspiratory alleys people are going down. I don't fall down that. I'm not going to talk down on that. I try to empathize with that. But again, I think $1,500 for someone to take a vaccine is an amazing idea, and it'll get the job done. And that's what really matters. Okay. So we will talk about this more, of course, but I thought this was just a really interesting place to kick it off. And I really do want your guys' opinion on this. Okay. So second article, CoinDesk, S&P Dow Jones indices to launch crypto indexes in 2021. S&P Dow, you guys know the names here. This is just another step in making Bitcoin and the crypto markets mainstream. This is huge news, you guys. I was waiting for not all week, but a few days to share this with you because I was so excited about this. And this is, again, just another star aligning for Bitcoin. More institutional interest is coming because of this. More access is coming because of this. And again, you guys, access to new markets is the biggest factor for the expansion of Bitcoin and the crypto markets. Okay. So on top of that, at the time of recording this, Friday afternoon, Bitcoin just kind of took a little dive, okay? So it's actually more Friday evening Hawaii time, but Bitcoin currently sitting at $18,750, down almost 4%, okay? So although we closed out the week, many of you know we were talking about Riot and Mara absolutely crushing it this week. Riot specifically, aftermarket for Riot not looking too good. Bitcoin coming down. Mara had actually kind of a bad day, closed the week red. And I actually am, shout out to the newsletter group, going to be sending out almost an emergency newsletter later today. So as of Saturday afternoon, I will be sending out an emergency, call it emergency. It's just going to be an analysis, very up-to-date analysis on what I'm thinking about Bitcoin, Riot, and Mara, because I definitely have some thoughts around there going into next week. Okay, so again, shout out to the newsletter group. Keep an eye out for that. Moving on. House votes to legalize weed. This is huge news considering we've been talking a lot about cannabis lately, okay? So the vote was fueled by demands for criminal justice reform following high-profile police killings of Black Americans earlier this year. So again, you guys, there's just so much sucky things that have led to this decision. But all that stuff at the time of this happening, considering this is happening now, has not gone in. It's actually kind of, I shouldn't even say it's gone in vain, but it hasn't gone in vain. It's great this is happening. It's of course great for sectors of the market. Don't want to get too interpersonal about this, but obviously House votes to legalize weed, very, very good for the cannabis sector. Very, very good for some of the stocks we really like here on the channel. So super exciting news, and I think this is very good news for the market, and I'm very, very bullish on cannabis next week and for the weeks to come. Okay, so we will go over this, finish it off in terms of articles with some stimulus talk. Got to catch up on the stimulus. Bloomberg, Biden calls bipartisan stimulus plan down payment on recovery. So of course, you guys, we are getting closer to this bipartisan stimulus plan of about $900 billion. Fortunately, the left, both parties on the left and the right are seeming to get along, and they both seem fairly confident that they can get a stimulus in place prior to the holidays. And I want to make this clear every time I talk about the stimulus. Obviously, this stimulus plan is good for the markets. Stimulus, more money printing is obviously good for equities, for assets like Bitcoin, like gold. Bad for the dollar, but that doesn't matter because people who need dollars really need dollars. And then the fact that it's inflating our environment means that equities and whatnot go up. So it kind of balances itself out. But again, even being involved in the market, obviously, that's a selfish reason I want stimulus to come out, because more money printing equals more money in the markets. Just the human side of me, the human decency side of me, and everyone should feel this way, wants the people who really need money to get money. I want everyone who wants to get their kids, their significant other, like a Christmas present, a great Christmas present, get them the money to do that. Because the holidays, everyone's had such a tough year that we need Christmas. If Christmas is a flop, then all hell's gonna break loose. Okay, so I really just hope the stimulus comes, gets people who really need that money. And again, it's great for the markets, but just from a moral perspective, I really want the stimulus done. Okay, but down payment, so that means that there's more to come. $900 billion. Hopefully, there's more down the road. We'll finish it off with this. As far as content of the week, which we'll actually finish it off with. Great podcast here. Of course, you guys recognize both these faces if you've been watching the channel for a while. Talk about this at the end. And then a more fun piece of content that we'll actually close it out with. Talk to you guys about good old Baby Yoda, Mandalorian, and Fortnite. Okay, so before we get into the real stuff, I will, as always, ask you guys to please give the video a like if you do go on to gain value from it today. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, want to catch more content like this. And of course, check out my complete portfolio daily newsletter. First link in the description. If you want that emergency analysis that I was talking about earlier for Bitcoin and Mara. But for real, it's a complete breakdown of my entire portfolio: call options, put options, stock positions, crypto positions, all of it broken down in percentages in an entire portfolio. I do update that every single trading day during market hours. And on top of every update, at the same time, I do also write an email newsletter rationalizing my thoughts, letting you guys know what I think about the entire market. And we pretty much talk about every exciting, because I talk about a lot of different things on this channel, right? We got Bitcoin, Riot, Mara, cannabis. We got EVs sometimes. We got silver, gold. I talk about a lot of that every day on the newsletter. So if you guys want like updates on whatever your favorite sector that we talk about on the channel may be, that's the best way to do it, because I can only do one video a day. Okay, so if you want to check that out, greatly appreciate it. Join the Waves fam. If not, no worries at all though. Let's get into this fun topic. So key points. Americans are eager for more one-time stimulus checks, while the U.S. government is working to get COVID-19 vaccinations to the American public. Now, one proposal from former Congressman John Delaney aims to help both sides by providing stimulus checks in exchange for getting vaccinated. The goal, to reach 75% vaccination rate faster, which could save both lives and the U.S. economy. I agree with this 100%. Meanwhile, the U.S. government is preparing to distribute vaccinations to the American public in order to put an end to the public health crisis. Now, one proposal aims to help both efforts by giving people $1,500 stimulus checks in exchange for getting immunized. The faster we get 75% of this country vaccinated, the faster we end COVID and the sooner everything returns to normal, Delaney said in an interview with CNBC. So what do you guys think of this? The question is obvious here. If you were to get a $1,500 stimulus check, would you get the vaccination? And would it matter which company gives you the vaccination? Would you be more prone to get one from Moderna than Pfizer? And of course, Moderna fanboy here. I would rather take one from Moderna, sticking to my roots. But let me know on a serious note. I don't think I would. Actually, you know what? No, I would. I definitely would. Like the trials, we've been following these trials for so long, and I almost, in order just to set an example, I've looked at all the side effects. There are obviously the potential for side effects. There is that small chance that something could go wrong if you get vaccinated. But you guys, I'm a man of odds. I'm a trader. We're in the markets. I'm an analyst, and my job is literally playing the odds. And I'll take that 0.001% chance that something bad may happen if I take the vaccine. But in order to set an example to do a good civil justice that would ultimately help those around me, I would easily take $1,500 for a vaccine from Moderna. You guys know the deal. So let me know down below what you guys would do here. Obviously, this is definitely, you got to put some thought into this one. And again, it doesn't. For me, you wouldn't have to pay me if I was offered the first round of these new vaccinations. I would take it to set an example, but I wouldn't want to. I'll take it if people wanted me to take it. but I would rather high-risk individuals and high-risk workers take them first, which is who is going to get them, and that is 100% the right play. Okay, so again, you guys, just kind of a fun thought experiment. Very curious what you guys have to say about this down below, because this is a very polarizing topic. So please let me know down below. Would you take 15 hundo for a vaccine? Moving on to BTC. S&P and Dow Jones indices, a major financial data firm, said Thursday it will launch a customizable cryptocurrency indexing service in partnership with crypto data provider Luca in 2021. The coming product is poised to become a hub for cryptocurrency pricing data at a time when more Wall Street investors than ever are searching. This year's bull run is said to be driven by institutions angling for exposure to Bitcoin. We've been watching the digital asset space, and we feel it's at a point of institutional interest in maturity, where companies such as ours want to get in and contribute to the transparency of the marketplace, said Peter Rothman, global head of innovation and strategy at S&P Dow Jones Indices. So you guys, this is the top dog of S&P Dow Jones saying this. And again, you guys, the more people have access, the more your average everyday person, because we're very different than your average everyday investor, these elderly individuals with large pensions who want exposure to these things. This type of product makes it so much easier for people who aren't geeks like us to get involved, which is obviously very, very good for the space as a whole. And this is no other way to say it. This is another star lining. This is amazing fundamentally. So that's that. Again, you guys, once again, the technicals are starting to look a little crazy, so keep you guys posted on that. Next week should be exciting for sure. Moving on to cannabis. Man, I'm excited that cannabis is really seeing a fundamental and technical resurgence right now. Moving down here, let's read some of this. The House on Friday passed a landmark bill that would remove federal penalties on marijuana and erase cannabis-related criminal records. The bill passed by a vote of 228 to 164. You'll love to see that. That is a wash, with several Republicans on board. While the MORE Act is not expected to come up in the Senate this year and likely won't in the next session of Congress either, its passage nevertheless marks a monumental step in marijuana policy. So again, you guys, this might be, it might take a little bit for this to become actually set in stone, but we're on the right track. This is, as Natalie said, a monumental step towards legalization and another regulatory hurdle jumped through by the cannabis market. And again, you guys, cannabis it's just crazy to think that we covered this in the cannabis talk earlier this week, is that at one point cannabis, for just up until recently, from like the 1960s or whenever it was, 60s or something, 61 I believe, was in the same basket of like stage X drug as heroin. So it's very, very obvious that cannabis is not that. Again, I know so many people who function highly and even better than they would normally on cannabis. You can make so many arguments around the semantics of that. But again, you guys, I'm for freedom. I'm for, like, if it doesn't hurt you or those around you, which I don't believe cannabis does personally. It's crazy that people are being locked up, and I hope everyone who's gone to jail for cannabis in the past is relieved of relieved of their charges, which they said here. So let's hope that plays out, and this is just a great step for humanity, step in the right direction in my personal opinion. Keep that in mind, you guys, it's just my opinion, but objectively very good for the cannabis sector. Okay, so next week, not only for crypto, but it should be exciting for cannabis as well. Let's close it out here with good old stimulus, because this really, this has an impact on the entire markets, as you guys know. President-elect Joe Biden described the $908 billion pandemic relief proposal from a bipartisan group in the House and Senate as just a down payment, and that he expects Congress to approve more stimulus spending in early 2021. Quote, they're on their way to being able to come up with a package that meets the basic immediate needs that we have, but I've made it real clear, it's just a down payment, he told reporters Friday in Wilmington, Delaware. Biden said he thinks there will be enough Republicans that would join enough Democrats in the state and the House to pass the $908 billion agreement. He expects enough Republicans to come to the table next year on another stimulus bill, because the country is going to be in dire straits if they don't. So again, you guys, no matter what side you fall on, I don't want to get political at all. I'm actually very straight down the line. I care about individual things, okay? I don't care if it's right or left. I care about individual situations personally. And I like where Biden's coming from here. Like, he understands the reality of what's going on the ground, of what's going on in the streets, you know, and people are having a hard time. And again, because we're involved with the market, which we should consider ourselves very fortunate to be. This stimulus is great because more stimulus, more money printing equals a devalued dollar, which ultimately leads to greater valued equities, Bitcoin, especially like safe haven inflation hedge assets. Okay, so good for us, but people really need this, and that's important. And I like what he said here, because this is telling me that it's very likely that this $908 billion kind of bipartisan package, this stepping stone to the greater stimulus down the road once he gets inaugurated officially in the beginning of 2021-ish, is coming prior to the holidays, which again, if Christmas is a wash, we're a wash. America's a wash if Christmas is a wash, okay? So let's rooting for Christmas here, okay? Christmas needs to come. There's no Grinches around, no Grinches in sight. Get them out of here, okay? So that's a good sign. And then the fact that it is just a down payment is a good sign that there's more to come, okay? And this is good in the sense that I feel like I trust him when he says this, because again, he understands the reality on the ground. But this is also good for optimism and general investor sentiment, okay? Knowing that there's a stimulus coming soon and that there is a stimulus in the works. And of course, they've been saying this for so long, you guys, but I'm optimistic. I do remain optimistic personally. And I think that's just a better way to live, to be honest. But again, stepping stone right here before the real thing come January, February, okay? So that's good, again, in the sense that money is actually being given to people who need it, flooding into the markets, which is always a good thing for us. And there's more on the way, and it's good for investor sentiment and just optimism in general, okay? So closed out with that. Good news for the markets. I remain bullish. I'm a perma-bull for the most part. I shouldn't say a perma-bull, but I'm just an optimistic person. Just because, again, I feel like, why be pessimistic? Okay, so moving on to content of the week, just released earlier today as I'm recording this. Titled, again, you guys recognize these faces, Mr. Raul Paul on Mr. Anthony Pompliano's podcast, the Pomp Podcast. Titled, Hedge Fund Millionaire Invests All His Money in Bitcoin. Love to see it, guys. I mean, Raul Paul, over the course, I've been talking about him since I started making these investment videos back in, March-ish. And he has been he's probably been my single favorite voice of reason throughout this crisis, throughout this pandemic. He's a very celebrated macro trader, comes from former hedge fund manager at Goldman Sachs, very accomplished, so a very competent individual. I put weight on his words. I consider him a mentor personally. And this is a great talk between someone who's of the younger generation. I believe Pomp's like 32 or 33. Raul's probably pushing 60. And it's just so awesome to see two Bitcoin bulls, but two people who really understand the financial systems and the macroeconomic environment. He is a macro trader. That's what he is by nature. And it's always good and always enlightening to see just these two individuals, in my opinion, just again, because I respect both of them very much. A conversation with them, hour, 20 minutes, worth every minute of it. So go check this out, you guys. Just highly recommend to listen. Moving on, fun. Okay, you guys, so If you guys have been with me for a while, watching Waves Weekly for a while, you guys know I'm a Fortnite nerd. Season 5 just dropped of Chapter 2. Fortnite's latest season adds new locations and weapons along with Baby Yoda and the Mandalorian. So you guys, Boba Fett, I'm a nerd, you guys. You guys know that. You guys know I'm a nerd. But Boba Fett was like my favorite Star Wars character growing up. Like, loved Attack of the Clones, Star Wars 2 with Jango Fett, loved Boba Fett, always loved this aesthetic. When The Mandalorian dropped on Disney, I was freaking pumped. Been watching The Mandalorian, and the fact that they integrated it with my favorite game, which is Fortnite, is just sick. And the new season of Fortnite is sick. If you guys just want to watch like the gameplay trailer or something, or if you want to watch Mandalorian, because I've been watching Mandalorian too. New episode came out last night as you guys are watching this, as it's about to as I'm recording this. So stoked to watch that. Let me know if you guys watch the Mandalorian. Let me know if you guys are I mean, my mom loves Baby Yoda. Who doesn't love Baby Yoda? I'm just a Mandalorian guy, you know. So let me know down below, regardless, if you've been watching the season, if you like it, and as well as what other series you guys are watching right now. I know Big Mouth, that was going to be my content too, is Big Mouth just dropped, is about to drop later tonight, again, as I'm recording this. But for you guys, Big Mouth, the new season 4 should be up if you guys are interested in Big Mouth. That's a show I just love so much to just like chill out, go Jello Brain, and just laugh. And I think Nick Kroll is actually a brilliant guy. John Mulaney they're brilliant comedians, and it's very smart humor in my opinion. But great show, a little crude. So Just know that going into it. It's very crude actually, but it's super funny. So Big Mouth, Mandalorian, Fortnite, all content of the week, plus of course the good old Pomp podcast with Raul Paul. So I think we're gonna call it there, you guys. And yeah, just let me know whatever you guys want to talk about, whatever you guys are thinking right now. Always love talking shop, especially on the Waves Weekly episodes. This is really a place to just really talk about whatever you want down there. So we have a great community. That's one thing I'm so thankful for, and I continue to be thankful throughout the entirety of the holiday seasons. Thankful for all of you guys. Thankful for the Waves fam, not only the portfolio fam, but for the entire YouTube Waves family as well. Love all you guys, and I'll talk to you downstairs. Until next time, always remember, take action, make waves. Peace.